This week's episode of The Republic is brought to you by Netflix. For a free 30-day trial, just head on over to netflix.com/GameBreakerTV.
GameBreaker TV.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to The Republic, episode 151 for August 19, 2013. I'm Gary Gannon, you're watching Game Breaker, and coming up on today's show, it's just PvP. Lots of PvP to talk about. Arenas and the end of ranked war zones and more. But first, from Massively, it's Mr. Larry Everett.
How's it going?
Good. What's
I don't have
happening?
anything
It's Monday.
special today.
What's that? You have nothing special?
No, I
Your
don't.
kids-
That's kind of weird. No kids and no peanut butter and
No.
mulch. Nothing like that.
No,
No.
no, you're not going to twerk in your Leia Slave Leia outfit?
Not this week.
I thought
not
that was this week. I thought that was on in the notes.
Next
No?
week. Next week. Yeah.
Joining us as well, Laura Williams. How are you?
Hey guys.
What's happening? Did you get the memo that Larry's going to twerk in his?
I did actually.
Slave-
I'm really excited for it. We're gonna
I
have
really am
a
as
cheering
well.
squad here.
And joining us for the first time ever, Mr. Lance Cadiz from Jedi Consular, twitch.tv/Jedi Consular. Lance just threw up in his mouth a little bit when he heard that Larry was going to be twerking. But
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
it'll be all right. We have that effect. We have that effect on this show. People like to just
Yeah. We actually the whole chat room right now is holding in. And
So Lance is here to help us cover some P versus P, some PvP, because we had a lot to talk about. So I don't know, top to it. Let's talk about some PvP. The next update, 2.4, we're expecting big things. So Alice Modney, the assistant designer for the combat and PvP team, wrote up a blog post detailing the PvP side of the update. And before we get into that, thank God. Can I just throw this out there to everybody? Thank freaking God they renamed Space Garage to the Orbital Station.
yeah.
Yeah.
And on top of that, just so everybody's clear, there are actually now 2 people working on combat.
Wow.
Not
All
just
right.
one.
Now I'm not saying Orbital Station is like the greatest name ever, but at least it's not Space Garage.
No, Larry, it's gonna or Gary, it's gonna make an awesome movie title.
Orbital
Deathmatch
Station.
Orbital Station.
If that was made in the 80s, I would
Awesome.
totally watch it.
It
sounds
sounds like a bad song from the 80s.
It does.
Space Garage. Starring
Anybody
Ziggy
know-
Stardust.
Does anybody know what happened to the name guy? I hope he didn't get fired or anything.
No,
Layoffs?
Eric Musco still works there.
Oh, okay, he's the name guy. He names everything. Ouch. All right, on to the arenas. Last team standing, as expected. And interestingly, they're counting arenas as war zones still. So that means that rewards are standardized across the board, doesn't it? Does it mean
Yes.
that?
Yes,
gonna be
the
same.
Absolutely.
You're still gonna be able to get Warzone combinations, you'll get XP credits, and if you're doing ranked, you will get ranked comms and ranking.
Okay, so on one hand, you don't have to do one to be geared for the other. But doesn't that mean
No.
that hardcore PvPers will already have all the gear that they need?
Not when 2.4 launches, because they are actually going to introduce another set of gear that is going to be like the next tier up. So, yes, the people that have been PvPing this whole time are going to be a little better geared, but they aren't going to necessarily be at the top level of gear. Right?
Gotta climb
Right.
that ladder.
Gotta climb, yeah. Gotta grind it out.
It's just gear recycling again. That's all.
Lance, what do you think of this? So what do you think of it? It's 2 teams of 4 in a best of 3 match, not just a one and done. What do you think of the setup?
I think it's a blessing and a curse. I mean, you're going to have the 4v4 deathmatch, and that's just what it is. It's a deathmatch. People going at each other, trying to kill each other. To me, it hurts the fact that there's no more real objective play. There's no more, having to plan out how you're going to get the HUD ball from point A to point B. How are you going to go over there and cap that point? It's good in the sense that it appeals to a broader audience, but bad in the sense that, to me, it doesn't promote as much team play and coordination as APA.
Interesting. 'Cause I kind of looked at it being a bit less casual and a bit more of a time commitment. So I thought it might be a little more geared. Do you think it's not really geared towards the hardcore PvPer?
Well, I think that the 4v4 ranked teams are, yes, but if you solo queue for ranked, it's just a quick match. You do best of 3, it takes 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I think, and you're pretty much done. You can go through, you can blow through those a lot faster than 8v8, and you can have a little bit bigger of an impact on the match yourself. So it gives those more casual players something that they can do to feel like they've actually done something in the match rather than having to use tactics and figure things out.
So Laura, you're a little bit more on the casual side of PvP. What do you think of this?
I actually really like it. Playing a sniper, I mean, I'm not often one running the huttball, and a lot of times in like SWTOR or Alderaan, my goal is really to just go around and kill people. So for something like this, I actually had a lot of fun. I've been on the test server. I was getting my ass handed to me, but I really, really enjoyed the new areas, and I enjoyed just being able to go in and kill people and not worry about whether or not we had grabbed the objective.
So nothing is carried over between rounds. Cooldowns are reset. I don't know. Anybody? I think that sounds like the right move to me. Does anybody object? Sounds like definitely the right move.
I think that definitely the audience is looking for it. I think, however, I think the long term, I think it might be a little bit detrimental overall because it is just a kill zone, and eventually people are going to find that this team works the best, and that's all you're going to see. And if you're not this particular class, whatever that happens to be, probably assassins and shadows, then you are going to, then you're just not going to be viable in those in the arenas. That's what I'm afraid will happen. Maybe we'll see. Now this is distinctly possible because it is a brand new patch. Maybe we'll see some new class balancing coming out of this, in which case I could be completely wrong, and Jedi Consular there will probably lose every single match.
All right, so 2.4 is launching with 3 arenas. It's got Corellia, Tatooine, and Orbital Station. Didn't we originally see a screenshot of an arena on McCabe?
We did, but
What's going on with
apparently
that?
when they were doing the testing, they discovered that there was some kind of really bad bug. There were bad performance issues, and they said that just really needed to be kind of polished and fixed up before they presented it to the test realm to test. So in its place, they put in a 4th arena, which was Corellia Square. And I'm actually really excited about this because it means that we can expect that we're going to get 4 war zones, and hopefully they can get that they can get McCabe fixed before 2.4 actually goes live. More is always better.
More always better. Each arena will be different with a different layout. So they're not just reskins, which I think is really good. Small arenas with line of sight blockers, different elevations and killing fields, but there's no traps. Pretty much pure PvP. Lance, what do you think? What do you think? How do they look? You excited?
I like them. I'm excited. I mean, I like them so far. I've managed to do maybe 30 or 40 test arenas on the PTS so far, and I've gone through them all. And I think my favorite is Space Garage, Orbital Station. And I like that one the most. I don't know. Maybe it's just the color scheme. Who knows? But I think that they're going to be a good addition to the game. The only unfortunate part is that whole 88 thing. So we'll get to that later.
Would you think that like dealing with traps and positioning and stuff like that, would it have been added more of a skill element, or would it just been a cheese?
I think in the 8v8, yes, it adds a skill element, but with the close quarters of the arenas, there's still positioning that needs to be done. There are things that you can do to line of sight people. It's just a much more closer quarters combat is all. I think that it's you still need to have the skill to avoid people and position yourself correctly.
Do you think that certain now I've heard that certain classes are more geared towards this style of PvP. For instance, since it's close quarters, like the Marauder Sentinel being more viable to this kind of combat than, say, I don't know, a commando or a sniper or somebody that's a little more distance oriented. Have you found that? I've not tested this out, honestly, so I'm asking the question as have you noticed anything like that, or what's your take on that?
What teams that are basically better than others, or players or classes that are better than others?
Mostly classes is what I'm concerned about. Is there one class that kind of stands out amongst, oh, this guy works really well in this, or something along that line?
Well, of course, it being close quarters, the Marauders are going to stand out. Juggernauts will stand out. Sentinels and Guardians, vice versa. But I think that all the classes right now, with the exception of maybe a Merc or a Commando, are really viable. I've been playing as a Shadow, pure tank for that matters, and I think that the Marauders stand out because if you group up, you're going to get smashed on. But I was watching some streams where they were being very, very careful to stay spread out, and they were able to beat a 2 or 3 Marauder team. So
how does this work?
It's really good.
How does this work? Somebody fill me in. So if the teams refuse to fight or stay in stealth the entire time, after 5 minutes, I think, which may change, sudden death mode will start. How does that all work?
They're going to start flooding the arena with a toxic gas, and when it touches you, if you're in stealth, it's going to, 1, pop you out of stealth, and 2, it's going to put a dot on you that does damage based on a percentage of how much health you have. So having more health is not necessarily conducive to outlasting the toxic gas. So in order to lose the effect from the gas, you have to move out of it. And if you've gotten down to that, to the point where you're trying to outlast the other team, you're going to find that it's going to flood pretty quick.
Huh. Interesting way to handle it. You guys think that that's a pretty effective solution? I mean...
Yeah, I think so. I've only had, out of all those matches I've managed to play, I've only had maybe 1 or 2 matches come down to sudden death, albeit it is a test server and most of them were solo. But the one that did happen was a team match, and with 1 match went down to sudden death, and I think it'll be effective in getting teams to get real close. So I don't really see anything wrong with it.
I mean, do you think teams are going to troll, though, and just basically, because it sounds like you could probably figure out the timer and stay stealth as long as possible.
Well,
that's still not conducive to winning, I don't think. I think that's going to be very... Yeah, I think that...
Well, last man standing rule does apply to sudden death. So, I mean, I guess in theory, if you wanted to do that, but that seems kind of silly to me. Like, who's actually going to go in there and agree with the other team? Okay, we're all going to stay in stealth until sudden death happens, and just, try to heal each other and outlast it? I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me.
I don't think we're going to see that. I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem, really. If you go in there and use stealth, eventually you're going to get spotted. You can't stay in the extra stealth level forever. You're going to get spotted. Someone's going to get knocked out, and you're going to have to fight.
Yeah, and it's also close quarters as well, which helps tremendously when dealing with stealth characters, because if they stand in one spot, you will be able to see them eventually. So even if they're moving around or whatever, and they're trying to stay stealth the whole time, it might be a little bit more difficult to see them. But like I said, it's close quarters here, so you're moving around a lot yourself, and if you get just in the right position, you're going to be able to see them no matter how good their stealth is.
Yeah.
All right, I want to talk about the PvP queuing system, but first I want to tell you guys about a great deal we got going on with Netflix. Have you guys checked it out? Have you guys checked out the streaming service? No! Got a free trial for you guys. Free. All you got to do is go over to netflix.com/GameBreakerTV. Use that URL and sign up today. Download the app to your iOS device. I don't know if anybody's watched this. Have you guys checked this out? Have you guys seen the new Netflix original, Orange is the New Black?
Yeah,
I have not seen
that
yet.
through.
You've watched it all the way through? What'd you think?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, I of course liked House of Cards better. That just suits me. But Netflix is doing great putting out original series like that, and they're definitely worth watching. I don't even watch.
Yeah,
TV.
they're doing a great job on all this. So this is a Netflix original, like you said, like House of Cards and some of the others that they've been doing. From the creator of Weeds, Orange is the New Black, only on Netflix. People giving it great reviews. Season 1's up there. Check it out. Go over to netflix.com/GameBreakerTV. Like I said, sign up, use that URL, get a free 30-day trial, and you get to download the app onto your iPhone or your iPad or your Apple TV or the newly this thing. Have you guys checked out this yet? You guys seen the Chromecast? This thing is awesome. This thing is amazing. Streams your Netflix to your TV. It looks like a USB stick, but it's got an HDMI. It's actually not USB, it's HDMI. You plug this bad boy into your television's HDMI port, and it instantly starts streaming Netflix, YouTube, all that good stuff. $35. $35. This thing's great.
Oh, that's a good price.
Yes, it's super cheap. Check it out. Definitely recommend it. We have it hooked up here in the studio, and it streams Netflix right to the Chromecast. So check it out.
And nothing gets done in the studio anymore.
Absolutely nothing. Netflix.com/GameBreakerTV. Support GameBreaker by supporting our sponsors. We love the Netflix. Check it out. Netflix.com/GameBreakerTV. All right, let's talk about the PvP queuing system. Is remaining the same, but having its interface redesigned to present, I guess, the required information a little bit more simply to players. Liz, has this been something that the PvP community has been asking for a lot? Is this something that's really needed?
The queuing screen itself?
Yeah, I mean, they're redesigning it. It's apparently to present the information a little bit more fluently.
I think it's interesting. It's simple. It opens up, has 2 buttons. You press the button you want to do, and you play that. It's just simpler. Is all I suppose.
Do you like the red pill or the blue pill?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I thought when I saw
Was this
that.
needed
Really
though?
what it
Was a lot of the PvP community like crying out to simplify this because they were confused or something?
Well, the PvP community is pretty simple. I mean, what?
Oh no!
Damn! Shots fired!
Shots fired! Yeah, I don't think it was something that was needed, but it's a nice change.
Okay, nice little quality of life change. So there's 2 forms of ranked arenas, solo and group. And if you queue up for an arena specifically, I guess you won't be dragged into a regular war zone, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So the matchmaking system for solo queue will now determine the role of the character as DPS, tank, or healer, and it'll match your team against another team with the same roles. In solo queue specifically, I think that sounds great. What do you guys think? How's it working out?
I thought it was pretty nice.
I mean, I've done a lot of the matches with solo queue, and I've been queued up with teams that are pretty equal. I've gone some 1-to-1 matches, and they end up winning or losing 2-to-1. So I think it's doing a good job so far. It's a lot easier since there's only 4 people. So.
Laura, you had some good experience as well?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty nice. Most of the groups that I got into was we at least had someone that could act as a tank, and we had somebody that was a healer, and then 2 DPS. So that was kind of nice to have somebody that actually was healing me. I love healers a lot.
The example they used was 4 healers versus 4 tanks. So that won't happen in solo queue. Definitely
no,
good
but
news.
if you wanted to get together in a group and put together a group of 4 healers and go into ranked that way, you could do it.
Yeah, if you want to lose.
I was gonna. Is 4 healers versus 4 healers any better? Is that really better?
4 healers
No, probably
versus 4
not.
healers. That would be the longest match that you would be drug out until sudden death.
Can you guys set that up this week and
Nobody
stream
would
that? Record that. Put that on 4v4 healers because I kind of want to see it now. 4
So
really
they're
good players
cross-healing,
against
which team
Yeah.
can last the longest
but
through
like
the
really good
toxic
players.
gas.
We had like some really top PvPers, all 4v4 on all healing. That'd be great.
Oh my gosh, that would be kind of awesome. Actually, I would actually like to see that too. Then let's see if we can make that happen. I don't know how we'd make that happen, but it would
Make
be
it
fun.
happen. So another change while in queue or in the arena, there'll be no respecking. So if your spec is 000, you default to the DPS role. Please don't do that. Don't be a jerk. Thanks. PSA, public service announcement there.
Oh my gosh, I'm just waiting for some loser to actually do that. That'd be great.
It was happening on the test server. There were a lot of people who were like, "Oh, you're gonna get out of queue because you don't have any spec," or why? A lot of people saying, "I don't understand. Why can't I change my spec? And why can't I respec when I'm in this group?" So they're figuring it out slowly.
All right, on
Somebody
to
did
some
read the
more.
patch notes.
Somebody, most people. All right, let's talk about some controversial stuff. This is what I really want to know. No more 8v8 ranked war zones. They're being removed from ranked queue. Lance Size, what do you think? That's a big one.
The big thing is why? Why would you just remove content like that? I mean,
I know why. I have the answer.
Well, I mean, they typed out something. But,
no, they hired Larry.
Yeah, I am now working.
Oh, there you go.
He's now working at BioWare, and he was like, just get rid of this 8v8 stuff. Screw this. It doesn't work.
Down with PvP.
he's slowly disassembling all of it.
Yeah.
No, seriously. What? I don't know why. Why? Any speculation?
Well, what they said is, people were having a hard time doing it, but to me, that's no reason you should remove something. Even if 100% of the people don't choose to do 8v8 ranked, they still want to have the choice. You still should be able to have the choice. I mean, at some point, you're going to get tired of 4v4. You're going to call up that other guild and say, hey, you guys want to do some 8v8 ranked? And you still want to get the ranked comms for it. Them removing that just was another blow to the ranked community. I mean, personally, I only had the chance to do a few ranked matches that were only like 1,500 rating or something. But, I enjoyed 8v8. I would have liked to have seen it kept in the game. It was objective-based. It required you to use tactics on a higher level. You had 8 people, not 4. I don't understand why it was removed. Why can't it just be kept there along with arenas?
It looks like what was the official statement was something to the effect, I think Alex said this, was something to the effect of not enough people played it and they didn't support it well enough. That was sort of the thing.
Yeah, I think if you're not going to support something, that in certain cases that it's best to just get rid of it. That way, it doesn't look like a blight on the whole, on PvP as a whole. I'm honestly, and I don't, I mean this sincerely. I think that they're trying to step up the PvP game. I don't think they're obviously there yet, but I do think they're trying to step it up, and I think that having ranked 8 versus 8 as part of the roster or whatever, then it kind of hurts the overall feel of PvP. If they had done it the way they intended to do it, if they actually supported it and it was something that was there and that people were actively doing on a more regular basis, and they still removed it, then I would look at it funny. But it's not being supported. People, generally speaking, are not doing it. It's not done well from a development standpoint. So I think that it's probably best to, at very least, shelve it for the moment, and then maybe pull it back out whenever they've decided that, we actually need to do something with this. Because right now it's just sitting there.
But what was the community reaction to this? Because, I mean, we were kind of in that wave of PvPers were finally getting love and they were getting focused on. And even though this could potentially help them focus, like you said, Lyre, it still feels a little bit odd when it's like we're supposed to be like bolstering up PvP, but then all of a sudden we're just going to snack just and take this away from you at the same time that this is supposed to be like everything you've been waiting for.
Right. I personally don't think it should have been shelved, like you said, Larry. That shouldn't have been the case. You need to think of this from a PvPer's perspective. That's all they do is PvP. When you only have 3 arenas or 4 arenas, you want another outlet to do something. If that's all you log in and do, taking that away is taking away over half of what you can do when you log in.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, statistically speaking, and from their perspective, this is just their perspective, very few people were doing it. Not enough to support having it there. That's really what it boiled down to. I mean, I understand that, but I would rather them shelve it and then pull it back later and have it actually mean something than to just have it sit there and kind of barely being used and not being supported at all.
That goes back to what I said before, is, no matter if you use it or not, there has to be the choice. People inherently want to have a choice with something. Whether or not they use it, it's up to them.
I can see both sides of this. I can totally see both sides of this. I mean, when you're just a PvPer, right? Like you said, it takes away like almost half the amount of content that you're able to even play now, and it's like, but if that's
I do know. I can only speak from my server, and it by far is not. I don't think it's representative of the PvP community, but I do know that on my server, the vast majority of PvPers queue on just the regular war zones. They don't queue in ranked unless there is some sort of event or something or a day that they have planned to do this. They said, okay, we are on Thursday, we are all going to queue up for ranked. Other than that, they don't. They don't queue up for ranked. They queue up for regular war zones.
Well, I mean, he does say it could come back in the future. I basically guess that means that ranked war zones are back on the wall of crazy over at BioWare, and who knows when and if we'll see them again. So obviously, kind of, Laura, what's your opinion on it? Where do you stand on this? You think they should have removed them instead of just leaving them in to be ignored?
Well, I get what Lance is saying. I mean, that's like somebody coming in and saying suddenly, well, you know, we're taking away half of your raids and we're going to take away half of your flashpoints. So I can completely understand from that point. But if they're saying that there's just not people logging on to do it, why would you continue to try to put effort into forcing people to do something if they're generally not doing it?
Well, here's a question, Lance.
I guess at the end of the day, I would have said probably keep it in. It's not going to hurt anything to have it there. Just change whatever the algorithm is when people go to queue so that they're more likely to get arenas.
Lance, I mean, we can't really even figure out like fuzzy math here, and we don't have statistics on like how many people are queuing up for these things. We have no idea, so we're going on a statement that they're just saying no one was queuing up. Not no one, but not many people were queuing up for them. Do you get that sense though that you and the other PvPers, like, are you really not queuing for them so much, or were you not?
There was nightly or every few often nights on PvP servers they would have ranked nights where they would be ranked. They'd be playing ranked PvP all night into the morning. You could watch streams on it and see ranked PvP. And yes, it is a minority of the community, but still no reason to remove it. It's the fact of having a choice. It's like telling me, this is just a stupid example, but I have 3 monitors. I barely use one of them. It's like saying, you're not using that, I'm going to take it away from you. It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the truth behind this really is. Who knows? I don't know.
Unfortunately, we just don't have the numbers to support. Other than BioWare, BioWare is the only one that has any kind of numbers to support this, and unfortunately, they're not going to give those away. I
do think it's an interesting time. It's interesting timing of the move, like based around the time when PvPers are supposed to be getting some love and some attention, to then pull something this large out of the game. I just think it's like, could you have picked a worse time? Like, could you wait till things died down a little bit and kind of like it wasn't really like when they're supposed to be really kind of like showing a lot of love to that group of players? It's like, oh yeah, we're going to show you some love and we're going to take this away from you.
But I think this is one of those things where it doesn't matter when they said that they were going to take it out, it's going to make people unhappy. At least at this, I think it kind of cushions the blow a little bit because it's like, okay, yeah, we're going to take this away, but we're giving you all this shiny new stuff to go along with it. So, yay, shiny new.
Look over here. Look over here. This is shiny. This shiny. Don't look at this. Don't look at this. It's shiny.
The problem with that has been the trend for PvPers has been they're taking something away before they give you something, and they've caught on to that, and that's annoying.
Absolutely. I agree. I do agree with that. That PvPers have got the shaft since launch, pretty much. So I'm with you on that one.
There was a viewer says they're not removing any content. You can still play 8v8 Warzones. You just can't play ranked. That's correct. But the main benefit to playing ranked Warzones was you knew you were going up against a good team, and you got a better reward for it. You got the ranked comms for it, so you got your gear faster.
That's not it for the on the 2.4 front. So there's still a bit more. This one a little bit brighter news. The free-to-play restrictions on entering Warzones are being removed. So thank God. I think this is one of our biggest issues when the business model first kind of changed, right? So I don't know. Do you think they'll follow?
This is an excellent change.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I think it was really, really silly to say that free-to-play players could not have access to Warzones.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah. I mean, my next question, Laura, do you think that they'll follow suit with any of the other content restrictions?
I don't know. I don't... Like, for people that are lowbies and leveling up, I don't understand why you wouldn't let them... Well, I mean, I guess they have access now to the flashpoints. They just can't get loot off of the last boss after 3 goes. So they still, in a way, are able to get in there. They're able to get the XP. and when you're leveling up, I don't really see why you would want to tell people, no, you can't have this. Maybe at 55, they want to put the restrictions there. Although I would even be in favor of giving free to play, let them be able to run through 55 flashpoints and get their stuff and, just restrict raids. But I think for the PvP, this is a really great change.
I agree.
Well,
what do you think, Larry? Do you think that they'll follow suit with any of the other content restrictions on their business model?
I don't know. I would have to see some sort of statistic or something, or some quote from somebody saying that how much sales is done through the passes. If they're not, if the passes aren't selling, for instance, if nobody's buying these weekly passes really in general, then you might as well just give away the content, because you're the core of your business in most free to play models is in the fluffy stuff, like all the gear and all the extra companions you can get, those kinds of things. That's where the core of and in core, the cartel packs are huge as far as their income is concerned. So if nobody's really buying the weekly passes, then you might as well allow them to experience the content, so they want to then buy more of this other stuff.
All right, I want everybody to put their speculation hats on.
Oh,
so
new huttball. Who called it? This chick. Hell yeah. I've been saying this for weeks. We are getting a new huttball map. This is the proof. Hell yeah, that's Quesh.
That's Quesh. It's totally question. In fact, it looks like that industrial zone that you blow up as the planetary quest on the Imperial side. You get the blow up part of Quesh. That's kind of what it looks like, that area down there. So
definitely looks like new huttball map. So obviously confirmation there. Actually, really quick, there was a fourth arena teased, right? Could it possibly be McCabe?
Yes.
Probably. Just it was bugged or something.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see. We'll see what happens with McCabe. McCabe is generally speaking a graphic intense planet, and yeah, we'll see how that goes.
So let's what's that, Laura?
I said all those crazy light bridges.
That's right, and waterfalls.
So Lance, what are you in the what do you think from a PvP perspective? How do you think you think you're going to be happy with this patch? Is it looking good on paper, or where do you sit on it?
I think it's a good thing in terms of the arenas, and the obvious black mark is removing APA ranked. I think that PvPers will blow through the 3 maps that come out extremely fast and get bored with it, and we'll go back to going, what's next, what's coming, what's going on, because this is, one of the first large PvP updates in a long time, and they're removing, half of the fun for ranked teams.
So let me ask you, what's your main draw at this point from a PvP perspective that keeps you playing? Why haven't you moved on? Why are you still playing Star Wars?
Well, I actually do everything, and I PvP, do ranked PvP, and I do high-end rating, so I'm actually more of an everything person. But I think that from a PvP perspective, it's going to be now the ability to log in with a short time frame, be able to group up with a team if they're online and play a few ranked matches real fast and have it count right there. Whereas large HVA ranked teams, or just HVA in general, was taking a little bit more time. We did have to schedule it. I think that this is just going to be a plus for those who can only have limited time constraints to play the game.
Is it more the world, though, that keeps you interested in the game, and that it's Star Wars? I mean, because it's obviously that PvPers have been kind of neglected for quite a while. So I'm just trying to wonder, what's the real... there's a lot of other options out there for serious PvPers, and I'm just sort of curious to wonder, what's holding that community still together?
It was 8v8 ranked. That was the thing that held them together. Most of the PvP teams were on the Bastion server, Props of the 5, and they were doing 8v8 ranked. They'd schedule it and they'd fight against each other, and that's what kept them in the game. And I think that's where the big disruption comes from, is they're pulling that away from them, saying, "Here's a new shiny bone."
Are you hearing any of those players kind of talking about leaving now that 8v8 is getting yanked out of the game, or?
Not particularly. I had the chance to do some arenas with a ranked team from, I think it was Bastion, Unsullied. Last night was the guild name, Unsullied. And they're just trying to adapt to the new game mode. And I think that's also what has kept PvPers in games, is that, they're learning to adapt to it. And yes, I have heard some people leave, talking about leaving, but I think that a fair amount will still stay and try the new game mode and then make a decision from there.
All right, next up, let's the arenas. The arenas are out on the PTR, the public test realm already, which is definitely a good thing. Just kind of leave this one open. What do you guys think? Have you guys all checked them out?
I had to check them out, and Lance obviously has. Larry, did you ever get on the test realm?
I did not get a chance to check them out this weekend, unfortunately. So, sorry.
How
I'll
are they
let you
feeling?
guys answer those questions.
Laura, how are they feeling, like, from your perspective, maybe from like a balance point of view?
Well, I'm going to say that I thought Tatooine was my favorite just because it was really sunny, and when I died, it was nice to be somewhere that it was sunny. But they were
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. I'm done.
They were small. It was a very intimate setting. There wasn't a ton of having to like run all the way across the map to get someplace. So I really liked it. I had a great time with them. I thought they were incredibly fun, and I think that if people give them an honest chance, that they're going to enjoy them as well. Anybody
have any insight into like what some of the tactics that were used or what may work best?
Yeah,
class composition, things like that.
Yeah, I've seen a few different class compositions. I've seen most prominently is going to be Marauders and Sentinels together with a Scoundrel or Operative Healer, just because of the mobility and the ability to spam fast heals below 30% health on the Scoundrel and Op healers. That, to me, is probably the best setup right there. Either having some sort of tank, Juggernaut or Guardian tank would be the best, just because of how much damage they can take and the ability to have a lot of single target control that they have, as well as smash bombs from Sentinels and Marauders. It's a really good group. It's being labeled as the God comp so far. But other than that, a really good setup that I did see was an Operative Healer, a Sniper, a Power Tech tank, and a Marauder, which was really interesting because what they would do is put down the AoE oil slick for slows. They drop their AoEs on that oil slick. The Sniper would also have their slows. So you're reduced to something like 20% movement speed, being forced to take a ton of damage in a single target area or an AoE area, and your whole team has to be there in order to be in range of guard, and your healer has to be there in order to heal you. So it was very effective and hard to counter, and it was nice to see teams were testing out things other than just a single class composition. So hopefully that transfers over into live server, and we see teams using different comps and not just a single comp.
Any specs seem to be just failing just miserably?
Well, no one likes mercenaries, so I just, mercs and commandos. You don't see those too often. You'll probably never see a commando healer or a merc healer simply because they don't have the quick draw ability or the oh shit ability that a Scoundrel or Op has to heal something.
And Laura Meep in chat says, tactics, use the sunny weather to blind your opponent.
Yeah, I'm a
What else
baddie.
do you need?
What would you guys give, Laura? What would you give the fun factor overall?
Personally, I thought it was fun that I didn't have to worry about objectives. I could just sit there and shoot people in the face.
Better than
And Lance
huttball,
is like
abbreviated.
And Lance is sitting here about to fall out of his chair.
I don't know. I mean, I think they're fun. I did notice that when I was doing 4v4 that I was forced to actually kind of hunch over and get in that gamer stance and like, gotta press keys, gotta kill this guy, gotta taunt this guy. And whereas in 8v8, I did have a little bit more downtime, mainly because I'm a tank, and I was able to guard nodes and things. But it seems like everything was included in such an intense amount of action at one time that it's pretty fun. It's all right. I like it.
Did you guys experience the how much of the sudden death have you experienced? Is it happening
Very
at all?
little.
Very little.
I didn't see any of it.
Interesting. What's the
She went down too fast.
Oh, look, he just shots fired again. Look at he's just taking
All right.
aim on the entire crew today. Larry's like, I'm alone.
All right.
You're next You're next, Gannon. You're next.
Go
Chat
for
bubbles. Chat bubbles.
Yeah, you just
Oh
bring
yeah,
that
that's
up.
right.
Map design.
but
What do you guys thoughts on?
Oh
what are
yeah,
your
hey
thoughts-
Larry. Hey Larry. How about you're gonna have to buy your sitting in emote from the Cartel market?
Ooh.
Oh.
GG.
I'm not going to. I'm buying it from GTN, just like every other sap that's out there that doesn't have any money.
Is that confirmed? Is that true?
Yes.
Yes, it's gonna
They're-
be
Shut
a
up.
random
they're-
in the next.
sitting
the
in
next lottery
chairs
pack.
is coming.
You have to
Sitting in
buy
chairs.
it?
And you have to buy
Yeah,
it.
it's gonna be a random drop in the lottery packs.
Oh, more
Yep.
money.
I'm dead serious. There's two of them. There's two emotes for sitting in chairs. The show's over. We're done. We have won. We beat BioWare. We have sitting in chairs.
Oh yeah, what about Bob says they had to take out 8 ranked for sitting in
So I
chairs.
can sit in chairs. That's
Does that
probably
not
what it is.
sadden you that you're? Does that not sadden you at all that you have to pay for that?
A little bit. I'm holding out hope still that they are going to still give us something that is an emote, that is just an emote. You don't have to buy. That is, and these are special, specific emotes for the Cartel market. Crossing my fingers.
Couldn't
I
someone,
don't.
sorry.
Jesse Sky, if you're listening, help me
I
out.
was gonna say, couldn't someone go through and take the same code, or I'm not sure how it works, I'm really ignorant here, the code that's used on the chairs in players' ships, and apply it to all the chairs in the cantinas?
We had somebody that asked about that
Yes.
actually, and what he was told was that in your ship, if you sit on, like if you continually get up and sit down in the chair, eventually it breaks, and it's okay because when you leave your ship, you can reset the phase. But if you have that in the open world where it gets maybe reset once a week, with the amount of people that would be sitting in chairs, especially in an RP server, that would be getting up and sitting in the chair, they would break really fast, and then they'd be broken until the server gets reset.
Couldn't they respawn, how they disappear and come back after every
They
time someone
don't.
gets up?
No, that makes logic.
No, actually, no.
They
The chairs
break?
don't disappear.
The chairs
Yeah, what-
break
the-
because people sit in them.
I mean, what a body size.
What,
What-
they don't have
what'll
enough.
happen?
They don't have enough HP. Like what?
It's something like that. Yeah, they run out of hit points. No, it actually. I don't know the mechanics behind it. Obviously, I'm not a developer, but I can tell you what happens is, eventually you click on it and click on it and click on it, and eventually, when you get up, you won't be able to click on it to sit down anymore. It just becomes an object in the world. And
I'm gonna go try that.
I don't know why it does it. I don't know the mechanics behind it, but that's what happens. And it is okay if that happens in your ship, because your ship resets.
Okay, and so where does this emote, the sitting emote work? Where does this work?
The sitting emote, the emote that's in the Cartel pack, what it will do is it will sit you down and spawn a chair. Like a chair will just suddenly appear under your butt. And
Wow.
you're done.
So they can't fix the problem with the code to allow you to sit in chairs. So the only solution is to charge you for a simple function like sitting in a chair, like an emote.
Exactly.
Something tells me they don't want to fix that problem, Larry Everett, and you will never see that problem fixed. They will always break.
I honestly, well, I don't know about the actual problem that they're having with the sitting in chairs, but I'm really hoping that we get an emote that it is not a Cartel market emote that does something very similar to what the Cartel market ones do. That is just given to us because we have been putting up with this crap for.
I mean, what's so good about this
a year and a half
chair?
now.
Does it give you a massage? Does it come with like a happy ending? I mean, like, what does this thing do? They have to pay for it. It's a chair.
It's an emote. As far as the Cartel market is concerned, it is an emote, just like a bunch of the other emotes that are sold in the Cartel market. Like the slash across the neck, and there's all sorts of clicking your heels together kind of emotes.
Seriously, like Larry, when chat bubbles do get him, I'm telling you, it's gonna be like chat bubbles break this server. It's gonna come and they're gonna charge you for every chat bubble. I'm telling you, they're gonna start charging you credits. You can like pay for every one. They're gonna nickel and dime everything. That's ridiculous. That is like the shittiest response. We can't fix chairs and they're broken, but we're gonna put something in the shop that gives you a chair and gives you the ability to sit, but we'll charge you for it. Yeah,
like I said, I will be upset if this is the only emotes that we get for sitting in chairs.
How did I used to love BioWare. Like they were like my favorite company.
To be honest,
I almost hate them at this point. Like hate. I'm starting to like fire is starting to like erupt, and I'm just like I hate these guys now. Like I used to love them. It just seems like I don't know. That just seems so shitty to players to me. Like that's for our peers who want that. It seems like such a knife. Like it's just like, here, let me just shank you. They're just like poking you. It's like, I've got an ice pick, Larry. I'm just gonna jab you in the side once in a while. I think it's lame. It's lame. Sorry.
Yeah. One of the things that was said early on, whenever they introduced the cartel market from Damien, was that they did not want to have buy power. That was one of the things that they were going to keep out of the cartel market. But unfortunately, in order for the developers to prevent buying power appearing in the cartel market, they had to sacrifice something, and that the sacrifice, so to speak, was everything else is up for grabs. And unfortunately, that includes emotes. I don't like it. I think that is really crappy, and they shouldn't be doing it. And that hopefully they realize that role players in general have been crapped on pretty much the whole game, just like PvPers.
Can you sit in chairs in Final Fantasy 14? Yeah, I think you can. Yeah, I think you can sit down almost anywhere.
Yeah, but Final Fantasy 14 is never mind. It's not Star Wars. It's not.
Doesn't have lightsabers.
Sci-fi.
I get it.
It doesn't have lightsabers. It's really yeah.
All right, I'm gonna move on because I'm just gonna keep raging on this. 2 more class reps asked questions this week. We should have BioWare's answers next week. I don't know. Somebody for me. How are the sorcerer's questions?
I thought they were a little confusing to myself, or at least the first one was a little confusing to me. Their first question was asking. That's the wrong thing. All right, now I'm on the right page. The first question asked that were there any plans to kind of increase survivability for Sorks? They feel that they take more damage in PvE and PvP. They do have a lot of defensive abilities, but you need to spec into them, and they're kind of spread out through all the trees. Is this intended, and are there any plans to give Sorks additional damage mitigation?
No.
That was
no. That's the answer. No, I can answer this for No.
The question that they have there, they highlighted was the barrier. It's a great addition. However, it keeps us from doing our job. The second it falls off, we are targeted and killed just as fast. It only acts as a small delay, not a defensive cooldown. Well, yeah, if you pop the thing when you have 10% health, I mean, maybe you should reassess when you pop the barrier. Maybe if you use it as a sort of threat dump, so to speak, in PvP, where you pop it when you're a little bit higher up, so you can still use your med pack when you come out in order to get the team to stop attacking you, or to still try and focus on you if they're dumb. And then that way your team has a chance to peel them off. I mean, it's I don't understand most these questions. I'm just like, it's interesting.
I really facepalmed whenever I read the Sork questions, especially that first one. Honestly, Sorks are some of the most survivable, one of the most survivable classes in PvP, because they have so many. They don't necessarily have cooldowns per se, but they absolutely have ways to get away from somebody beating on their face, and that's really what counts in a PvP situation. In a PvE situation, they are the best healer to have in a raid. Why do they want more? Really, I don't
Why?
understand that. I
How
don't get
about all right? What about Vanguards? How are the Vanguard questions? Any better?
After reading the Sorks, I don't even read those. I haven't had a chance to read them yet, so that's all. I don't think I
Actually,
know.
the Vanguard questions made more sense. I actually was cool with the Vanguard questions. I mean, the primary question, which I absolutely agree with, is the Vanguards do not have enough cooldowns, or at least not viable cooldowns, in both PvP and PvE situations. And he basically asked, although it's like one big run-on sentence, he basically asked, are you guys looking into this? What are you guys looking to do as far as their cooldowns and whatnot are concerned? And I definitely agree, because I know right now Shadows and Sins are kind of lacking as far as their actual defensive abilities are concerned, but they do have a lot of cooldowns to pull from. But it's definitely seen in Guardians and Juggernauts, incredible cooldowns, incredible defense mitigation, and as of right now, the weakest tank is your Vanguard or your Power Tech. And as far as people wanting to have that in their raid group, and that's because there's not a lot of cooldowns. If a healer has to tend to somebody else in a group for a moment, your Vanguard and your Power Tech are kind of sunk because they have equal. Yeah, go ahead.
I think that's incorrect. Power Techs and Vanguards are better than Shadows, and you've got Guardians and Juggernauts are the most used tanks in Nightmare raiding. I mean, I'm a Shadow tank, and I take so much damage; it's way too spiky. It's ridiculous. You know, they're reassessing it right now, and there might be some changes in the future, but it's just absolutely ridiculous how much damage I take right now. Even though
that's because of changes that came recently.
Right.
Overall, and that's because of changes that came recently. That's not. I don't think that directly deals with what they're talking about here, being with cooldowns and things along that line, which are kind of non-existent. For the Vanguard and the
defensive
and the power.
cooldowns,
Yeah, defensive cooldowns.
I could see Vanguards having an extra something defensive cooldown for PvE. That'd be great, you know. But Shadows, man, we just get to hit you hard.
Yeah, and honestly, that has to do with the recent changes they made because of PvP, and I really, really hope that they address that really quickly too. If they were back to the scale that they were before these recent changes, then Shadows, I don't think Shadows and the Sins would have anything to argue about. Whereas Power Tech still have the same issues that they've had since, at least 2.0.
They need to have something. What would be nice is that, you know, PvP skills in PvP do something in PvP, and they have a different effect in PvE. I mean, that'd be great, but I guess that's not possible.
That's asking for too much coding.
Way too much coding.
That was
sitting breaks that. So
that's right. And now that we have sitting in chairs, you're never seeing that.
Never. Lance Cadiz, follow him on Twitter at Jedi Consular TV. Go over to his Twitch page, twitch.tv/JustJediConsular. Drop the TV. So great having you on, man. Got to have you back. Great insight on the PvP side. Thanks for coming on the show, and definitely got to have you back to talk some more player versus player. Laura Williams, follow her on Twitter at VoidMinx, VoidMinx, and of course right here on the Republic every Monday at 6 PST. Larry Everett, follow him on Twitter at Shadow, SHADDOE, and of course go to massively.com to read the Hyperspace Beacon. What are you covering this week?
I'm back on the free-to-play experiment.
Oh, fun! Yeah. Definitely check that out over at Massively, the Hyperspace Beacon. You can follow me on Twitter, Gary Gannon, and if you guys haven't checked it out, just go over to Gamebreaker TV and check out the new Gamebreaker Community Cast, the GBN Cast. If you guys are interested in finding out what's going on behind the scenes of Gamebreaker and all the new sites and all that stuff, like the Gamebreaker Nation, all that stuff. So definitely go watch that. All right, we do the show live every Monday at 6 PST, so we'll be back again next week. Have a great week. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week for some more Republic, where I will be now charging for every segment on the show and every time I put up a lower third. There's gonna be a charge. It's now going. It's now going. BioWare just sent that in. I have to charge now for every segment and every lower third. So stay tuned for
20
that
cents per lower third.
Yes, 20 cents per lower third right here on the Republic.